Hey, man, let me talk to you a second. Hang on. Hold on. Stop walking. Let me talk to you a second, man. Shit. Okay. Hey, what's going on tonight?
I don't know. I ain't got nothing to do with y'all stuff.
Hang on.
Hey, work fine. Put your hands behind your back.
In Arkansas, the Texarkana police are handcuffing that man who has not broken any laws.
I'm being detained right now?
Yes,
you are
you
being
are.
detained. It's investigative detention. All right. At this point, you are not in any trouble. You understand? But we're being told by multiple people that you were involved in all this.
The cops are referring to a shooting moments earlier that targeted him. Reginald James, a veterinary technician, landlord, and father of three, was walking by one of his rental properties when men in a car opened fire on him, prompting him to run.
Okay, well, that's all right. Go ahead and get his identification and everything. We'll go.
You got an ID in your pocket, sir?
Under the law, Mr. James is not required to give up his ID, but he consents anyway, politely.
I'm going to pat you down for our safety, then.
Based on the Constitution and settled court decisions, the police are free to try and talk with Mr. James, but he is under no obligation to respond or answer any questions.
And you can actually talk to us.
And he makes his position clear.
I ain't got nothing to say to y'all. I'm just trying to go home. Y'all stopped me for no reason.
No, we stopped you for...
I'm passing by and I fit a description.
You were pointed out.
That's okay.
So they may have all made a mistake when we work this out.
Y'all up. It's cool though.
How do I up?
Because I ain't stopping me for no reason.
Oh, okay.
Y'all gonna figure it out. I'm a college graduate. I'm a homeowner. That's my home right there. That's my rental property right on the corner.
Okay. Well, all you had to do was talk to us a little bit.
I ain't have to talk to y'all. I don't need to talk to y'all. You got me sitting here detained from walking from the store coming home.
Mr. James is correct. He is detained and handcuffed, though he's the alleged crime victim, and he has the right not to talk.
I don't have to deal with y'all.
At certain times you do, sir.
I don't have to deal with you, Mr. McAdams.
Yes.
What's your name, sir? Mr. Negron? Nice to meet you.
So you say you don't know nothing about nothing, you ain't got nothing.
No questions, bro. I'm not answering any questions.
Hey, if you keep yelling like that, you're going to try to find a way to take you to jail. We're not wanting that.
You're going to take me to jail then.
Hey, relax. Come talk to me.
Thank you. Let me go.
He's a turd from over there. But multiple people pointed him out. That's what I got. That he was part of it.
Because you're stopping.
That's what he's saying.
I don't want to be bothered. I don't with y'all. How much for?
208 Central. Correction, 209 Central. I'm in Route 206. Also show me not having a camera.
Go ahead.
209 and 1930.
It's open. Has he identified himself yet?
No, he allowed me to get billfold out.
Okay. Well, as of right now, he's under arrest for obstruction.
That's right. For refusing to answer any questions, Mr. James is being arrested for obstruction.
You have to identify yourself. I did. He has my ID.
Legal experts say that under the Constitution and the Arkansas Criminal Code, this is an unlawful arrest. But it gets even worse.
All we're trying to do is figure out what happened here. You're supposed to be the victim. You're the one being the and we're trying to help you.
Who's this guy?
After stating that Mr. James is supposed to be the victim, the police then speak to an eyewitness who confirms he was the victim.
So what did you see?
Well, I was sitting in my window right here about in the living room window, and I was on the phone with her. I had my blinds up. All I seen was a blue Grand Marquis speeding outwards.
Coming out of the
out of the apartment. And then I seen him run that way, but the shots was already going on. I just made sure my kids was down and they was in the back room.
You heard shooting?
Yeah, he was running this way.
And you run
across these people's yard.
Did the car look like it was after him?
Yeah,
or,
it was after him.
But which way did they turn?
They turned this way.
They come up right behind him then? And then
he ran across his yard and over there in the people.
Okay.
Whoever stay over there.
In that gray house in the corner? I think he actually lives there.
He stayed there.
So now that the police have been told Mr. James was the victim, not a suspect, do they let him go? Of course not. Instead, they run his name. But to the police supervisor's apparent frustration, the cops learn Mr. James has no arrest warrants.
All I care about is, does he have warrants for his arrest?
And you showed to be clear.
Okay. One, he's now banned from housing. Banned him from housing.
At this point, the supervisor instructs his fellow officers to arrest and process Mr. James anyway.
If he doesn't want to identify himself, he's trying to walk away when we have a legal reason to stop.
That's when you grabbed him, man. I thought he's fixing to run.
We'll get you to transport him, do the arrest paperwork. I'll do the narrative stuff on it.
Hey, you're talking to the lady in the red
One
shirt?
officer claims to another that the information the eyewitness provided can be used to justify the original detention of Mr. James, and that Mr. James' refusal to talk was therefore obstruction.
We got the witness that said he info so we can justify why we made contact.
However, the courts have long held that police cannot use information gathered after the fact to justify detaining somebody earlier.
Let's get him transported out of here, and let's get him banned and get him out of here so we can finish and just come back here.
Furthermore, in this case, the eyewitness information made it clear Mr. James was not a suspect, just a target and a victim. And Mr. James was victimized twice, first by whoever tried to shoot him, and secondly by other men with guns, the police. The cops took Mr. James to a police station where they processed and booked him for obstruction. All of this happened in July 2022. The judge that was assigned to handle the criminal charge reportedly decided not to try the case in court, but rather place the charge under advisement. In the meantime, Mr. James is pursuing a civil lawsuit against the Texarkana Police Department. He's being represented by the Hearst Law Group of Hot Springs, Arkansas. Legal experts say Mr. James and his legal team have a strong case for civil rights violations. The experts point out that Texarkana police had no reasonable articulable suspicion to treat Mr. James like a criminal suspect and arrest him simply because he refused to answer their questions. The officers also falsely claim Mr. James refused to identify himself even though he was not required to do so, and the officers themselves stated on their body cameras that Mr. James was only a potential victim, not a suspect. But instead of showing any respect or decency, these police handcuffed Mr. James and trampled all over the Constitution. Kudos to Mr. James for refusing to cooperate with these tyrants and for standing up for his constitutional rights. If the Texarkana police had even a shred of integrity and shame, they would settle this lawsuit. But some police are so ignorant and full of themselves that they can't even admit when they've made a mistake. The Texarkana, Arkansas police made a clear mistake in this case, and sooner or later, they're going to have to pay up. I'm David Schuster. Thanks for joining us.